After days of allegations against him, Giovanni Pernice is ready to fight back with the help of the country's best defamation lawyers, Schillings, who are usually engaged by the royal family.
The Sun can exclusively reveal that ex-Strictly Come Dancing star Giovanni Pernice's future filming commitments with the BBC have been paused while they investigate numerous shocking allegations. Gio, who used to be a fan favourite on Strictly Come Dancing, is facing mounting pressure as the BBC steps up its investigation into his behaviour during his time on the show. 3 of his former dance partners have taken action against him, leading to the dissolution of his inner circle. The BBC is now having to review years of footage featuring Giovanni following the complaints from his former partners about his training methods. The Sun first broke the scandal with an exclusive last week after our reporters learned that Gio was quitting the show after nearly a decade. Former dance partners of Pernice, including Amanda Abbington, who herself quit early on in the show, are described as being deeply traumatised by his behaviour. We now understand that corporation chiefs have axed plans for future seasons of Gio and former Strictly star Anton Du Beke's travel series.
Giovanni wrote online, "Dear my fans, you will be as surprised as I am that allegations have been made about my dance teaching methods in the media this week. Of course, I reject any suggestion of abusive or threatening behaviour, and I look forward to clearing my name. Those who have followed my journey on Strictly Come Dancing over the last decade will know that I am passionate and competitive. I've always striven to help them be the very best dancers they can be. This has always come from a place of love and wanting to win, for me and my dance partners. Thank you all once again for your continued love and support, Giovanni." This all began when the Sun revealed that 3 of Giovanni's dance partners had engaged a top law firm to help them in their complaint about what they say were Giovanni's toxic training practices. And since then, we have learnt that at least 1 or 2 more celebrities wish to add their voice to that complaint. Several stars have publicly claimed that they found Giovanni difficult to work with before all this began, Laura Whitmore being one of those, saying he reduced her to tears, and Ranveer Singh also had problems with training with Giovanni. Of course, the Strictly ecosystem expands far beyond just the dancer and their celebrity. There's also, for example, the judges to think of. Now, we already know that Anton Du Beke is close friends with Giovanni, and they work together on tour across the country with their stage show, but also with that BBC travelogue. Now, they will be looking to potentially take sides and equally need to worry about their own public persona if this all ends in tears.
The pressure's really piling on the BBC and Giovanni. We know that he quit Strictly Come Dancing last week, and then a few days later, the Sun revealed that actually 3 women were filing formal complaints against him. I mean, this is a real crisis for the Beeb. What we know today is that Giovanni had a very successful show with Anton Du Beke, who we know as a Strictly judge. Now, those 2 did an adventures tour together, where first they went to Sicily, which is where Giovanni's from, and then they went to Spain. Those shows were hugely successful for the BBC. They were on BBC One. They were really well received by fans. But now we understand that there won't be a 3rd series. Now, the BBC will tell me nothing was commissioned, but Giovanni and Anton have both actively talked about where are we going next. Now, the person I've spoken to who works on the side of production has told me that discussions were in place about where were they going to go next, what were they going to film. But I've now been told that's all on ice, especially while this is so up in the air. I think this is highly embarrassing for the BBC and hugely embarrassing for Strictly. I mean, I love Strictly Come Dancing, and so does my mum. It's one of my favourite shows, and they bill it as one big family, and naturally that family is normally incredibly happy. You know, you see people coming off Strictly saying it was the best experience of my life, so it'll be incredibly sad for Strictly bosses and for the BBC to learn that these women have had such a terrible experience, as they put it. Now, while the 3 women haven't been named, we do understand one to be Amanda Abbington. So she was partnered with Giovanni on the show just before he quit, so during the last series. Now, fans of the show will remember that sadly Amanda said she had to leave. She had medical reasons meant she had to depart the show, and she later didn't come back for the final. But then it sort of all started to spill out that once Amanda had left, she then started to quite publicly defend her relationship with Giovanni, but behind the scenes it wasn't what we were hearing, and it's definitely not what we're hearing now and what is now coming out and coming to light. Ultimately, she said after, and she told friends, "I feel like I have PTSD from that show. She found the rehearsals particularly grueling. She says she had a really tough time. Giovanni, on the other hand, he's saying, I'm just a taskmaster. I'm a perfectionist. I want the best for my dancers. I want the best for my dance partners, my celebrity partners. I am going to push them because I want them to do well. He's saying this is born out of passion and his love for dancing and his love for the show. But I think that when the three complainants come to light and when we understand the severity and how intense their complaints are, I think it will be a different story altogether. So away from Strictly Come Dancing, there have been people talking about Giovanni and how he conducted himself. Karina Travis was a professional dancer who's previously danced in private shows with Giovanni, so say corporate events. And it was underneath his statement on Instagram that she actually commented and said, I'm glad the public are finally seeing the man I know, and then said he did horrendous things to me. Now, we put those claims to Giovanni's team and heard nothing back, which I think speaks volumes to a degree, because why aren't you saying anything? If it's so strong, if you're refuting it so strongly, why aren't you saying anything about that? I think it's like so many times with whistleblowers, people so desperately want to talk out, but often it takes one person to put their hand up and say, actually, I had a really bad time, and to take the first move. And obviously the Sun reported some time ago now that the three people, the people we believe who have filed these formal complaints, actually met up to compare notes, as they said, on their experiences of the show. So the BBC are currently combing through 9 years worth of rehearsal footage to make sure that aren't any of the red flags or people they need to approach about, how Giovanni was with them behind the scenes. This is going to take a mammoth amount of time. When more people start to talk out, it gives people the bravery to come forward. As I said before, Giovanni has completely refuted these complaints. He says, no, I clear my name. But I think it will be very interesting to see when it really does come to the fore, and if more people come out, because if I'm being honest with you, I absolutely expect more people to come forward and start talking.